The airport terminal buzzed with the usual chaos of travelers rushing to catch flights. Rolling suitcases rattled across the polished floors. Boarding announcements echoed from every direction. Daniel Carter sat quietly near gate 23, holding his 5-year-old daughter Lily on his lap. She rested her head against his chest, clutching a small stuffed rabbit. "Daddy, are we really going on a plane?" she asked softly. Daniel smiled and brushed her hair away from her face. "Yes, sweetheart. Just a short flight." Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement. For her, it was an adventure. For Daniel, it was something else entirely. This trip meant a new beginning. After losing his wife 2 years earlier to cancer, Daniel had devoted every second of his life to raising Lily alone. He had stepped away from his company, ignored investors, and even turned down million-dollar deals. Because nothing mattered more than his daughter. Now that Lily was stronger emotionally, he had decided it was finally time to travel again, both for business and for healing. But he kept things simple. No assistants. No luxury. Just him and Lily. When boarding was announced, passengers lined up. Daniel lifted Lily into his arms and joined the queue. Inside the aircraft, a tall flight attendant named Melissa stood near the entrance, scanning boarding passes. Her expression was impatient. When Daniel stepped forward holding Lily and a small backpack, Melissa frowned. "Sir, you're holding up the line," she snapped. Daniel handed her the tickets calmly. Melissa glanced at them and then at Lily. "Is she going to cry the whole flight?" she asked bluntly. Daniel blinked in surprise. "She's usually very quiet," he said politely. Melissa rolled her eyes. "Well, we don't run a daycare here." Several passengers nearby shifted uncomfortably. Daniel forced a calm smile and walked down the aisle to their seats. Lily sat by the window, amazed. "Daddy, look. The wings are huge." Daniel laughed softly. "They are. But their peaceful moment didn't last. A few minutes later, Melissa marched down the aisle and stopped beside them. "Sir," she said sharply, "you'll need to move." Daniel looked confused. "Our boarding passes say these seats." "Yes, but we've had complaints," she said. "Complaints?" "Passengers in first class don't want a child sitting nearby." Lily looked down, suddenly quiet. Daniel's chest tightened. "I paid for these seats," he said calmly. Melissa crossed her arms. "Well, unless you want to be escorted off the plane, I suggest you cooperate." The cabin grew silent. Passengers watched awkwardly. Lily whispered, "Daddy, did I do something wrong?" Daniel's heart broke. "No, sweetheart. Not at all." He turned back to the attendant. "We'll leave." Melissa shrugged. "Fine by me." Daniel stood up slowly, lifting Lily into his arms. As they walked down the aisle, whispers followed them. Some passengers looked embarrassed. Others simply stared. At the aircraft door, Melissa said coldly, "Next time, maybe consider driving." Daniel paused. For a moment, he looked like he might say something. Instead, he simply nodded. "Thank you." Then he stepped off the plane. Back inside the terminal, Lily wiped a tear from her cheek. "Daddy, why were they mad at us?" Daniel knelt down and hugged her tightly. "Sometimes people make mistakes when they judge others too quickly." "Are we still going on our trip?" Daniel smiled gently. "Yes. Just on a different plane." He took out his phone and made a quick call. "Hey Mark," he said. "We're ready." There was a pause. Then Mark laughed. "Finally. Give me 2 minutes." Back on the aircraft, Melissa complained to another flight attendant. "Honestly, some people shouldn't fly." The captain's voice suddenly came over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be delayed briefly due to runway traffic." Passengers groaned. Melissa looked out the window impatiently. Then something unusual happened. A sleek black private jet rolled slowly onto the runway nearby. Airport vehicles surrounded it. Ground staff rushed around like something important was happening. Passengers started murmuring. "Who's that for? That jet looks expensive." Melissa barely noticed. Until she saw something that made her stomach drop. Daniel was walking across the tarmac, still holding Lily. And a group of airport staff were greeting him respectfully. One of them shook his hand. Another opened the jet door. Lily waved excitedly. "Daddy! Is that our plane?" Daniel laughed. "It is." Inside the commercial plane, passengers pressed their faces to the windows. "Wait, that's the guy who just got kicked off." "No way. Is that his jet?" Melissa stared, her face turning pale. The captain suddenly stepped out of the cockpit. "What's going on?" he asked. A passenger pointed outside. "That man you kicked off, he owns that jet." The captain's eyes widened. "Daniel Carter?" The name spread through the cabin like electricity. Daniel Carter, founder of one of the largest aviation technology companies in the world. A billionaire known for quietly donating millions to children's hospitals. Melissa's hands began to shake. Outside, Daniel turned briefly toward the aircraft. Not with anger. Not with arrogance. But with calm dignity. He lifted Lily into the jet. Moments later, the engines roared to life. The private jet lifted gracefully into the sky. Inside the cabin, silence filled the plane. Finally, one passenger said quietly, "That little girl deserved better." Melissa had no response. High above the clouds, Lily sat in a wide leather seat. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. "Daddy, this plane is huge." Daniel chuckled. "Yes, it's a little bigger. Why didn't we take this one before?" Daniel looked out the window thoughtfully. "Because sometimes it's good to remember what normal life feels like." Lily thought about that. Then she hugged him tightly. "I like flying with you no matter what plane." Daniel smiled. "Me too." As the jet soared across the sky, he realized something important. Success didn't come from money. It came from staying humble and raising a child who understood kindness. Life lesson: never judge someone by their appearance or circumstances. The quietest person in the room might carry the greatest story. And true wealth is measured not by power or money, but by how we treat others.